The agenda session, where we do have wonderful and special guests here to share with us some important intel and information for you as a Ugandan, but also for us as a community. Well, this morning, of course, I am very happy that we are going to be talking about something that is very, very crucial, especially when it comes to the youth, not only here in Uganda, but also on the East African region. Now, when I say youth, what do I mean? Because this has always been a topic of, disagreement and argument. Who is a youth? At what age do you consider yourself to be a part of the youth? And what age does it take for you to be considered out of this age bracket? Well, we'll be looking into all of that, but also looking at when it comes to trade, when it comes to entrepreneurship, when it comes to opportunities on the East African bloc, where do the youth stand? Well, all of that will be discussing this morning. And when I say we, I am very happy and very excited because I know the person that I have in studio with me is the right person who will be talking about this, sharing with us, informing us, and also educating us. Well, I am very happy to have Natalie Mukundani join us this morning. Thank you so much for making time.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you're having a wonderful Thursday.
So far, so good.
Well, Sonia here, Natalie Mukundani, is from Youth Alliance for Leadership and Development in Africa. That is YALDA. Now, clearly, when you hear YALDA, you're hearing youth, you're hearing alliance, you're hearing the East African region. All of that definitely will be getting the information we are looking for. And of course, I do encourage you to be part of the conversation. Any questions, any texts, sharing your 2 cents with us, I would encourage. Make use of all our socials and Twitter, #UBCGMU. And again, getting onto our WhatsApp platform number 0709 602 592. Now, the reason why we are here, among very many others, Natalie, I do understand that there is a very big cause that you are bringing for us here in Uganda. And I know that the good news is not just only in Uganda, but it's spreading all over the East African region. That is the market day that I know YALDA as an alliance is behind. Before we even get into all this entrepreneurship conversation and all of that, I need to understand, what is YALDA? We are hearing YALDA, we're hearing youth, we are hearing East African region. What's the story behind YALDA?
Okay, that is an excellent question. So YALDA basically stands for the Youth Alliance for Leadership and Development in Africa. It's an organization that was founded by a group of students at the University of Harvard because they realized there was a need of African students back on the continent to get exposed, to get information. Because what happens is that on the African continent, African youth are not as supported as those in the West. There is very little or ineffective means of passing on knowledge, very ineffective means of having mentorship. So this group of African students said, why don't we form an organization whereby we can liaise with these African students, we can network and see how we can promote the ideals of a better Africa even outside the continent. So it has been in formation since 2013, and right now we have YALDA branches across almost 40 African countries.
Yes.
So how it works is that it is a university-based youth organization. So any university in Africa and East Africa that resonates with the ideals of YALDA can decide to form a branch within its university. So the vision of YALDA is youth envision, professionals assist, and then Africa is empowered. We see that the moment young people graduate, there is a disarray. To come from graduation and then getting employment, that whole internship process. But if you have a mentor, if you have a system that guides you to the right people, to the right sectors, it's easy for you to get into the employment sector as opposed to if you don't have someone holding your hand. So that is what YALDA is all about.
Okay.
We want the young people to take back the power, because it's not about the government, it's not about the systems. If the young people take back their power and look for these opportunities, then Africa will surely be transformed.
And I love the fact that you're promoting independent-minded young people, because we cannot entirely rely on government. It's strategies, it's policy making. There is a whole lot that it can do, but there is also a contribution that we have to make as the young people. Now, when you say young people, who exactly are we talking about? Because we've been having an ongoing conversation. The young people could be youth from 30 to 65. So who are the young people that we are talking about in this case?
First of all, youth is at heart.
That's very important to note. Very, very important.
But legally, because I'm also a lawyer, according to the UN definition of youth is from the age of 18 to 20. But according to the African Union, a youth is defined as any individual who's between the ages of 18 and 35. So those of you between 30 and 35 are still youth according to the AU definition. So yeah, you're safe.
Legally between 18 to 35.
Yes.
But like Natalie said, you can be a youth at heart. It doesn't really matter when it comes to the age, but legally 18 to 35. Now, YALDA, what are some of the key focus areas you're looking at addressing when you're talking about issues that affect the young people? What are some of the areas you're envisioning on focusing and directing your efforts as an alliance that really concerns itself with young people on the East African region?
Okay, so we have major ideals, and what YALDA aims to incorporate is one, communication and collaboration. Because African youth, unfortunately, most of them are not well traveled. So the mindsets and mentalities they have are those within their borders. So with YALDA, why we're actually having the YALDA East Africa Workshop or Market Day, we want a young person from Makerere University to interact with a young person from the University of Nairobi. Then they interact with a young person from the University of Rwanda, share ways of thinking, ideals, and in this networking and sharing, there's that spark of innovation that will be ignited to maybe form an idea, because right now we're in the innovation era, it's the era of ideas. So that is the first, communication and collaboration between the youth of Africa. The other aim of YALDA is to create awareness. Back in the day, our Pan-African activists and forefathers were aware of the potential they had within themselves. But unfortunately, the education system in most African countries is set in such a way that they teach you the skills, they teach you the basics, but they don't really harness your potential as an individual. So we have structured capacity building programs and training programs where we talk to these young people, and we first of all give them career development. You know how most of us studied courses that we did not envision. Yes. You find someone studied engineering, they're working as a doctor.
They're practicing something totally different.
You know,
yes.
And that is something that could have been eliminated if someone sat down with these young people and really asked them, what is your talent? What are your skills? What do you find it easy to do? What inspires you? So that it eliminates the time wasted process of the 4 years getting a degree you don't actually get to use. Then the other objective of YALDA is to promote the love for Africa, the love for the continent. We've come from such a rich background in narratives that do not build the African spirit.
Yes.
So as YALDA, we want in this networking, fostering communication, for young people to realize that Africa is beautiful. There are so many opportunities on the continent if young people actually open their eyes, if young people open their minds and look out for these opportunities. That is what YALDA is all about.
And when you talk about this, again, I would really love to understand if there is any correlation between YALDA and leadership. Between me and you, we are both children of the East African region. We have seen how leadership has been quite a contributing factor to socio-economic development of the region and in different sectors.
Yes.
Is there anything that YALDA is doing to nurture the type of leadership we're looking forward to, especially if we're going to look at the young people? We always believe that young people have a lot to do when it comes to leadership. We do believe that we are the future, we are the visionaries of the East African region. So is there any correlation between YALDA and leadership, or at least installing leadership skills amongst the young people of the East African region?
Yes, very much so. Personally, my story with YALDA is actually quite an inspiring one. So what YALDA does, it gives you the platform. And for you to use this platform, someone always says that answers come to only those who ask questions. So if you're a young person out there and you're not hungry for change, you're not hungry to see how you can grow yourself as a person, organizations such as YALDA or even any other organization can't work for you. So I'll give you my story. Back in 2014, I just started university. I was doing a law degree, and I felt like there was something in me to offer beyond the law degree. So I went online and I searched youth organizations in Africa. And then I saw it over there, YALDA. I read about it, and by then they had a workshop that was happening at the University of Oxford. So I write to YALDA, I'm like, my name is Natalie, I'm a university student, I love what YALDA stands for. How can I be a part of it? They write back to me, like, actually, perfect timing. We have a conference that is happening at the University of Oxford. In attendance will be the former president of Botswana, the former president of Ghana. So we challenge you as a young person to make it to this conference. Now, you know how university days are. You're struggling, first of all, to get a meal on the table, you know. You're eating noodles for...
We're always saying that having 3 meals as a university student is a
luxury.
It's a luxury. You need to treat it as such.
Real. So there I am, a university student, they're telling me, yes, please, you can join us, but we have this conference. I have never stepped out of Africa, mind you. Yes. We have this conference happening at the University of Oxford. Come through. I'm like, how the hell? Of course, I didn't write that diplomatically. Do you expect me to get to the University of Oxford? They're like, YALDA, youth envision, professionals assist, Africa is transformed. We believe in you. This is our fundraising strategy you can use. Go out there, speak to people, fundraise and make your way to the University of Oxford. Let me tell you, my guy, I was stressed. I was so stressed, but I was like, if they've said it's possible, it's possible. So I read through their fundraising strategy, and I'm like, this is actually a very good opportunity. So I first spoke to the university director, and they were like, okay, this is good, but what you do, we can only give you 40%. That's the University of Middlesex, by the way, big ups to you. So find the rest of the, the balance, 60%. I was even more stressed. Now, where am I going to get 60% to fund the visa, the accommodation? So I had to sit down and start thinking. Now, that's where the professional assists came in. Because when you're looking for answers, solutions find you.
Yes.
So I spoke to a few, relatives and friends. They're like, by the way, why don't you write a letter to the president of Uganda? His Excellency.
Take that bold move. Do it.
Yes. Mind you, I have never met
as
this
a Muzukulu.
I do not know. But they're like, just shoot your shot.
Yes.
If we were to use the Gen Z.
Yes.
Shoot your shot and you never know. So there I was, a first-year university student, drafting a letter to His Excellency.
As a
Muzukulu, the president of Uganda. Hello, Mr. President. My name is Natalie, a young visionary. I have this conference at the University of Oxford. They are willing to cater accommodation, but we need flights and visa.
Yes.
Your Excellency, come through for your for your Ugandan youth and people.
Yes.
Never in my life did I thought I'd get a reply. a response came.
Yes.
Like, this is such a great initiative. Send us the details, the bank account details, how many people are traveling, and we are proud to promote and assist the Ugandan youth to take that ideal to the, you know, to the Western level.
Yes.
My guy.
The excitement was
the
really
excitement was real. And then it showed me, it unlocked something in me.
Yes.
The moment I was on that flight, the moment I landed at the University of Oxford, and I knew it was as a result of my initiative, my thinking outside the box, and then reaching out to the people around me to open up this platform. So that is what YALDA wants to do. We give you the platform, we show you the means, and then we throw the ball back to you. What are you doing with this ball back in your court now that you have the support?
Well, you talk about this, and I really want to understand, again, from your perspective, from what you have seen, from observation, do you think that very many East African young people, it could actually, we don't even have to curtail it to the East African region, young people globally, do you believe that we have been given enough opportunities, enough support, enough platforms for us to, you know, engage ourselves and encourage ourselves, just like how you said, like, okay, so I need to sort the 60% of my budget. I need to think like this. Do you think we have been availed enough you know, chances to tap into whatever it is that we can to, you know, think outside the box? Do you believe these resources have been availed to us, or maybe we'll still have some more work we have to do?
Personally, the resources are there, Philomena. The resources are there, and I wish more young Africans would see them. But you see, the thing is, if you're not searching for treasure, it won't find you and drop on your lap.
Yes.
You have to look. You have to seek such organizations. You have to seek for the kind of people who are in the fields of industries you want to be in.
Just to cut you short, someone said that African youth, we are lazy.
Very much so. And
it's a statement that has been echoed in this studio on several occasions, coming in from different individuals, talking about how the opportunities are right there before us, we don't tap into them. We have been called lazy. So when you say something like that, it aligns with something I've heard previously.
I mean, the first example of African youth being babied, how is a 30-year-old woman or man 35 a youth? Like the Constitution is babying adults and calling them youth.
Yes.
Like literally, the moment you become 30, you are no longer a young person.
Yes.
But you see, there's this African system of, oh, this is our baby, don't go out of the home until everything. No. In the UK, in the US, the moment you're 16, you have a driving license. You're eligible to pay rent. And you're basically sent out into the world to make it. But think about a 16-year-old Ugandan, a 16-year-old Kenyan or Tanzania. They are living in luxury and comfort. By the time they actually get out into the world,
it's a whole different experience
to
for
fumble.
them. Yes.
They have, if it's a game, if it's a race, the youth of the rest of the world have a head start compared to African youth.
The adjustment is always hard, especially for the African youth. Very, very sad. Well, we're talking about YALDA East Africa Youth Market Day. Again, we want to know, what is this market day? What are the objectives? What is YALDA looking at? What is the intention of having this market day? Where is it going to be? What is it all about? Who do you expect to meet while you are at this market day? Natalie over here talked about exposure, interactions with different students from different universities, a platform where you get to share ideas, talk about how you can support each other and why it's anyone necessary. So let us know. Any questions, get into our WhatsApp platform number 0709602592. Make use of our Twitter, #UBCGMU. Well, we'll be circling back into some of the opportunities, future opportunities of young traders and entrepreneurs across the East African region. But let's talk about this market day. What's the story behind it?
So market day, it's a concept that's happening around the continent. So recently, African countries signed what is known as the Africa Free Continental Trade Area Agreement. Now, in layman's terms, what this means is that Africa is looking at the, actually not possibility, it's looking at eliminating tariffs of trade between countries.
Yes.
It means that if you, Philomena, want to sell your handbags in Kenya, Somalia, or Nigeria, the measures or taxes or tariffs that should have been charged before will either be less or non-existent.
Yes.
And the fact that Africa has one of the youngest population of humans in the world, it means that this market has the capacity to reach 29 trillion by 2050. Philomena, do you know how much $29 trillion is? that is a lot of money. And this is like
that's close to our budget. Our budget is starting at about it's 52.7 trillion Uganda shillings for Uganda, a whole country. 2023-2024, 52.7. So when you talk about 20, that's close. It's covering part of some of the kicking off some of the key items on our national budget. So I hear you loud.
That is just, and that is just like transactions between people across borders. Now, 29 trillion by 2050. So you as a young African out there in university or a graduate, what are you doing to tap into this 29 trillion? What opportunities are you looking at so that that money does not surpass you? So that is why we thought about the East Africa Market Day. Now it is happening at Charm City in Ishaka, Bushenyi. Now many people were asking, most conferences, most workshops are usually in Kampala. Why did you choose Bushenyi? That is another idea we're trying to promote as YALDA.
Yes.
Open-mindedness. Now the location Charm City, Bushenyi, is less than 2 hours away from the Rwanda border, from the Congo border, and you can also easily have access to Burundi. So we wanted a location whereby these young people from Congo, Rwanda, Burundi can have an opportunity to come and showcase their goods. It could be a bag, it could be a sandal, it could be a t-shirt, but just the coming to the market day, interacting with other young people, seeing different currencies, basically stepping out of your country. That already opens up your mind and gives you...
You step out of your country within your country.
You know, it opens up a whole world of possibilities. So this market day is market day stroke workshop. We wanted it to be a 2-day event, but unfortunately we didn't get enough support from sponsors and partners. Hopefully we'll have one next year and we'll have some really good partners come on board. So young people will showcase their goods, have people look at their goods, make a few sales here and there, and then we shall have trainers. We have, we're in talks with the Immigration of Uganda. We have the Assistant Commissioner of Immigration talking to these young people, telling them about trade. What do you need to get your 50
cross-border trade?
Yes, from Bushenyi to Rwanda. How much will it cost? What documents do you need to tick off? What does the Rwandese youth need to take their shoes, their sneakers from Rwanda and sell them in Kampala? In terms of trade, what does it mean? In terms of taxes? So this market day is to basically start that conversation. How do we get away from... Employment is good, yes, but we need to think outside the box. Call Uganda.
It's not reliable. It's not sustainable. It can only work for a given period of time. But after that, you need to start thinking of, so what next after employment?
We call it side hustle. Everyone needs a side hustle in this day and age. So what will your side hustle be? And then, you know, with the invent of online platforms, you can have your bags in your living room, take pictures, post them online. You get a buyer in Nairobi, you send via Mashpoa bus. You get a buyer in Nigeria, you put the bags on DHL. So if that job that you have is not sustaining you, why don't you think outside the box? Make candles. You can melt wax, add in a bit of, you know, essence. You sell your candles. You can, you know, sell your bread. There's so many possibilities. So this East Africa Free Continental Trade Area Agreement is brought by YALDA so that we can start these conversations and let these young people know employment is not the only solution to make a living. There are so many possibilities.
And when you say that employment, it's not even only for us, the youth. The country, and I'll give you an example for Uganda here, we're looking towards that direction where we want to have people the young people that come out of universities are looking more into creating solutions as opposed to problems. We have seen the Ministry of Education come out to change the curriculum, a curriculum that is solution-based as opposed to being the person that is looking for employment. So you see the mindset is really changing right across the entire country, and it's cutting across all other sectors. We want to have young people who can create solutions. If employment is not it, so what's plan B? What's your plan B? And you never know, plan B could actually turn out to be plan A for you. So I totally understand, and I do get it that we are on the right path. Now, for a young man or a young woman who intends to come and be part of this youth market day that is going to be held at Cham City in Ishaka, what do they expect? Paint a picture for them. What do they expect when they're coming there?
Growth. Growth, networking, and shopping. Who doesn't love a good...
I love me some good shopping sessions.
Honestly,
I don't mind some shopping.
You know?
Yes.
So we will have a variety of vendors. We have some people showcasing merchandise from Somalia. We have some Nigerians showcasing their merchandise. So come shop, come learn, but most importantly, come network. You see, it's these conversations between people outside borders that open up your mindsets and show you a world of possibilities as opposed to limitations.
Yes.
So, of course, we know the fact that it is outside Kampala. It is a bit limiting to young people within Kampala. But in the next edition, we shall look at having a Kampala version.
Yes.
But those young people around Barara, Bushenyi, or if you're in Rwanda, does UBC have coverage in Rwanda?
Well, online you could actually.
Online, yes. If you're in Rwanda, Congo, and you're watching this, a bus fare to Bushenyi is not that costly. It's less than $10 or $20. Come through. Come, let us learn from the people who will be making presentations. Learn how you can get your merchandise, your service, or your products across the border. And let's start from there. We want you to make money because people who make money are good for the economy and are good for growth, right?
Well, I do have a question here from Geoffrey, and they're asking, is it going to be free? Do I need to put some money on the side? What is the way forward over there?
Just come with your money for shopping.
So it's actually
free of charge. Don't we love those? As long as you come, support the vendors, come learn. What I'm really excited for the young people coming to the market day for is the workshop. We are going to take you through a comprehensive presentation about the Africa Free Continental Trade Area Agreement. You're going to be among the 5% of few young Africans on the continent that understand what it does, what it is, but most importantly, how it can benefit you. Then, of course, we are hoping to have some speakers from URA to help you understand the tax system. You see, by the opening a business is not easy. People have gotten character development from doing it.
Well, I mean, the business world has never been the easy one to navigate. And as the years go by, things become more complicated.
You know, actually, employment is like being babied. At the end of the month, no matter what you do, you're paid.
Yeah, you have an expectation of a certain amount of money falling onto your account. And
there you go. But with entrepreneurship, you have to put in the work. And for your business to work for you, you as an individual have to go through a certain growth that is not normal. You have your mindset has to shift, your habits have to shift.
Yes.
You have to be really, really calculative. So we're also going to hear from seasoned entrepreneurs, people who've literally started from scratch and have built business empires. From things that you can do like farming, from things that you can do like export. They're going to be speakers at the Market District workshop who will talk to these young people and basically inspire them.
Well, I have Sulaiman Loro here from Juba, South Sudan, and he's asking, I would love to know, what's the plan for South Sudan? Are there any chances that we could also be incorporated in arrangements like this?
All right, so of course, logistically, South Sudan is a bit far from where the market day is happening, but South Sudan is also another rich haven for opportunities. So to any South Sudanese or to all other youth on the continent that are watching this and are not in a position to attend the market day, worry less. Just use this interview. The fact that you're watching this actually shows that you are a woke African youth. Use this chance to know that there is an opportunity that is upcoming with this Africa Free Continental Trade Area Agreement.
Yes.
Sit down with yourself and think, I, Susan, I, David, how can I benefit from this vast market? What idea, what service? By the way, it doesn't have to be even a product. It could be a service.
A service, yes.
Maybe you're a masseuse, or maybe you're a public speaker, or maybe you're a coach. How can your services go across South Sudan?
Or maybe you are part of the tourism sector, which
There
is
you go.
really
Lucrative.
mushrooming, yes, in the entire region.
Yes.
We are really big on tourism all over the East African region.
Yes, so how can you take your service, your product from South Sudan to Uganda? What are the opportunities? What are the barriers? So any young person across the continent watching this, it is your time to wake up. Wake up and don't let this 29 trillion possibility pass you by. You can innovate something that has even not been seen before. There's so much room for innovation on the African continent. So sit down with yourself, ask yourself, what am I good at? What comes easy to me? What do I thrive in? And then answer a solution on the African continent. Because of course entrepreneurship is answering a solution to people's needs. Yes.
So when is this Youth Market Day happening, Natalie?
1st July, Saturday, basically 2 days away. Yes, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. There'll be lots of music, there'll be lots of entertainment, and of course, you know, being young, vibes on vibes. So
you have to use the youth language to understand. That is the only way we that is the only way we can get through to them. But I love the fact that they've turned also things around. Well, as we're coming close to the end of this, Miss Natalie, I did say that we'll talk about the future of young people in the East African region, courtesy of this free trade, the free trade area agreement. Where do you see young people on the East African region, courtesy of this very specific, agreement from Uganda, Kenya, Rwanda, Tanzania, South Sudan? Where do you see the young people a couple of years from now?
That's a very good question. I feel like on the continent, East African youth are lucky. With the East African Federation, already for you to travel from Kampala to Nairobi, can you imagine all you need is your national ID? You just need to present your national ID. Actually, nowadays, they don't even need your COVID vaccination. Your national ID, your yellow fever card, there you are in Nairobi. There you are in Dar es Salaam. So already, freedom of people is very easy in East Africa. So now it's just freedom of goods. So East African youth use that opportunity. And then the roads are beautiful. I recently did a road trip from Nairobi to all the way to Congo. And the road was immaculate. So now I can imagine as a young person, if you have your car, throw in your bags, your handbags, your lassos, your wraps, your bangles. Take a road trip to Dar es Salaam. You never know, you could even sell all your merchandise and you come back a million.
I mean, there is a possibility.
And then you saw this recent conversation that the president of Kenya has been having to eliminate Western currencies of the African market. So that means the Ugandan shilling value is going to elevate, the Kenyan shilling value is going to elevate, and who better than the East African youth to actually dive in and harness all these possibilities. So East African youth, you're very lucky. You're well poised at the crux of what we call the Africa Free Continental Trade Area Agreement. So think outside the box and use the opportunities at your hand.
Okay. One final question. How do I become a vendor if I want to exhibit some of my products? What do I do?
That's a very good question. If you want to be a vendor, just call this, I don't know, is that where we can we display the number?
Yes.
Okay, so +256 772 566 191. +256 772 566-191. She is handling vendor registration, so just call her, tell her the service or product you want to display on the market day, and then we will happily register you. Everyone is welcome on board. Come through.
Well, thank you so much, Miss Natalie. What would be your parting shots before we conclude this conversation?
African youth, let's take over. YALDA.
Well, there you go. The YALDA East Africa Youth Market Day is going to be happening on the 1st of July 2023. This is going to be on a Saturday. It's going to be happening at Cham City in Ishaka, Bushenyi district. Remember that this is not just any youth market day. It is a platform. Treat it as such. Treat it as an opportunity for you to network, share contacts, share ideas. All of this comes in handy. We're young people, so we have to, like we always say, we have to hustle our way around and ensure that there is money on the table. But also we do believe that there is quite a very big contribution we can make to the development of an economy like Uganda's. So there is a part for you to play. There is a role and responsibility you are expected to fulfill as a young man and as a young woman. The economy definitely will do a lot getting something from you. We'll leave it at that. Thank you so much, Miss Natalie, for making the time and encouraging the young people, especially for those that had already lost hope, thinking there is no future.
Are you coming to a
Absolutely.
Oh, lovely.
Absolutely. Well, we want to wish you a wonderful Thursday. Ruben Mpima Chividango is coming in with the sports updates. And of course, much later on, you will be having GMU Uganda Extra that is queued up right after that. Have a very productive Thursday. I am Philomena Masco. Good morning, Uganda.
This is the University of Africa. On the streets, you get your real education. Here, everybody has a degree of something. But the most important qualification